Fox Music sponsors the big reunion.
In the late 90s, you couldn't open a teen mag or turn on Saturday morning TV without seeing the fresh-faced A1 chaps smiling and often winking back at you.
Hi, we're A1!
They rocketed up the charts, scoring 8 top 10 hits, including 2 record-breaking number ones. As their popularity went into overdrive, the elegantly coiffed quartet overwhelmed Asia and sold a massive 10 million records worldwide before their tragic demise in 2002.
We're going to take a break as A1 for a while. We just got to let you all know we'll be back.
Now Ben, Christian and Mark are reuniting, but one member down. Who's going to play the tambourine?
Paul is not a part of A1 for me, and he wasn't at the end. We carried on for a year after he left.
Yes, people are going to be saying, where's Paul? Yes, people are going to be saying, oh, well, you're not the full lineup, but the truth is that band actually ended as a 3-piece.
All we've got at the moment is a lot of unexplained questions, probably from both sides. Don't know how he's feeling, don't know who he is anymore. You know, doesn't even want to meet up to discuss it all. You know, it's bizarre. It's odd.
The story of A1, who were named after a road, started when the same management team that created generation-defining rock giants Steps were looking to unleash a new boy band on a new generation of fans. 22-year-old dancer Paul successfully backflipped his way through the auditions to be joined by Norwegian performing arts student Christian.
I got an email one day from my songwriting teacher saying, if you want to be in a boy band, this could be your big break. I turned to the guy sitting next to me and I asked, what's a boy band? I had no idea.
Next came 19-year-old Mark, who was spotted in a nightclub.
This guy came over to me, he invited me to come along and have a meeting with him. And I said to him that a friend of mine is a great singer too. Is it all right if I introduce you to him? And this was Ben.
And I think the manager at the time thought, oh, here we go, you know, he's got a friend that I have to hear sing kind of thing. I went along and he went, brilliant, that's it, there you go. A1 is complete.
I'm Paul.
I'm Ben.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Christian. Possibly the others were even at that point thinking that they might be a bit too old to be in a boy band or that it wasn't cool enough or whatever, but I was game. I was like, yeah, let's do it, I'm ready.
But the jazz hands boy band vibe didn't stop at the music.
So as soon as I found out we were going to dance, that's when the nerves kicked in. I was like, oh, geez, I've been behind a piano my whole life and dancing is just, I'm like an ironing board. It's just not going to happen.
Well, Paul was the only one of us that could really dance, you know, that was his background. We kind of hid behind him quite a lot of the time, which was kind of hard because he's kind of small. We just wanted to do what was going to make us popular. So if that was going to be dancing, if that was going to be smiling all the time or winking or whatever the hell it was that they told us was going to work, we were like, fine, that's what we'll do.
First single, number 6, first single straight into the top 10. I'm just thinking, how is this happening?
Whatever happens now, no one can take away the fact that I've actually released a single in the UK.
A1, who were named after a large sheet of paper, were off to a flying start. With each new release, their fan base grew.
So after the first single, it was, you know, it was just getting better and better. And, you know, the next single was number 5, the next single was number 3. We were on the front of the magazines, we were on every TV show. You know, we'd have sort of girls chasing us wherever we went, you know, people stalking us, camping outside our house and all that kind of stuff.
But within the band, there was an intense battle of egos going on.
Me and Christian always had a bit of it wasn't rocky, it was more competitive.
Ben always loved to be in the center of attention. And sometimes I wanted to be there too.
They were very competitive with each other. For some reason, they'd always go for the same girl. It was like, it's obvious this is going to cause problems. And I think there was always a bit of one-upmanship. You know, like, if Christian was interested in a girl, Ben would be like, oh, I can go for her. I can get her before him. There was a clash.
And he turned around and he went like this. And like, it was, I kind of remember it in slow motion. It sort of, he was going to punch me like this, and then he suddenly thought in his head, this is a bad idea. So he opened his hand and he went, and slapped me. And I went, just slapped me. He went, yes, I did.
Because Ben was the most popular one, you know. It was a bit of, I guess, envy from my side. And thinking back now, I probably would have handled it a little bit differently.
Thinking back, I would have hated myself. But at the time, I thought I was brilliant.
Riding high on the unprecedented success of their debut album Always and Forever, the Eternal Girls seemed unstoppable. But behind the success was an animosity that had been simmering like a bedpan on a gas hob since Kelly had joined. And for some, the strain was beginning to show.
Myself and Louise, everything we did it together. Got up for breakfast together, we went shopping together. Bernie and Kelly were more like in their rooms, secluded, they're two of them.
I did isolate myself. I know that I can most definitely identify that.
I was always a bit homesick on the first album. So when I went back to the room, I was going to get so upset. When I went back to the room, oh gosh, stupidness. I would always call home.
You go away for a long time and you've got suitcases and you're tired. And you have a good day one day and then the next day you get homesick and then the next day you're tired again. And all them kind of things build up for me and get me thinking, what am I doing?
The already troubled quartet were about to face another challenge, as Louise unexpectedly quit the band.
It was devastating to lose a band member.
There was never a thought of bringing another person in because no one can replace Louise. Emotionally, it was quite hard. She decided to move on, which was a really hard time for us, because that then opened up a can of worms. Does the group continue as a three?
At the time when Louise was making her decision, it was suggested that I go with her and that we formed a twosome. And it was a difficult decision.
The band became more fragmented when Louise left. I really thought that was an opportunity to pull together, but Kelly said that she would only stay for the money.
She made a statement of, well, it's a business thing for me now.
Yeah, I don't think Kelly realises how much that statement really hit home. We have a band member that doesn't want to be there, and what do you do with that?
I did think about it and I did struggle about it. I knew Louise's reasons for going. They weren't mine, they were hers, so that's why I stayed.
Eternal. You're doing really well, and then you say, right, that's it.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
Between the four of us, you know, things just wasn't right. You know, we're still very good friends and we still hang out together, but we just wanted different things. I wanted to go off and try new things. The girls had what they wanted to do. And then we're all really serious about what we want to do in the future. And it's kind of, it wasn't worth kind of me just staying there for the sake of it. I just wanted to get out and be happy.
3 months after Louise left, the girls relaunched as a trio, with a more well-defined R&B sound on the new single, Power of a Woman.
Even with all the confusion and all the disjointedness going on, I think we all felt really empowered by that song.
Gone were the baggy boyish pants, now it was all about PVC and flashing the flesh.
We tried to reinvent ourselves and put a different spin on the look of Eternal.
That was us coming from caterpillars to butterflies.
Bam, Power of a Woman, where you're really getting sexy. It's like, well, can you put the clothes on? Kind of a thing, yeah.
Their popularity hit new heights as their Bootylicious reboot earned the trio acclaim.
Have they given you your double platinum discs yet? Have you got them?
No. We've got them.
And more awards from men in great suits.
Thank God and thank all of our parents, and we love you all. Thank you.
Eternal!
We're forever in love with you.
Fast forward to the year 2000, and boy band A1, who were named after a plumbing company near the start of the Yellow Pages, are also on a roll. With 4 top 10 hits, a top 20 debut album, and a sellout UK tour.
In the middle of our UK tour at the moment, and In some of the songs, all we have to do is point the microphone at the audience and they're all singing it better than you can. It's excellent.
Just one thing eluded them.
The one thing that we didn't have from the first album was a #1 record.
Our manager came up with the idea of doing a cover, and Take On Me was suggested.
We just thought Take On Me would put us in a different light. I mean, there's no harm in doing a cover just to further your career. Everybody's done that.
And the track took them straight to the top of the charts.
We were just on a constant high then, and it was almost like one peak after another.
You know, we'd taken a massive jump. We were suddenly, you know, not a newcomer band. We were one of the big boys.
But behind the band's happy-go-lucky image, you'll never guess what. Trouble was brewing in the A1 camp.
I think by the time the second album came, you know, that might have been where there were sort of a few cracks starting to show.
When we were recording Same Old Brand Of You, we went over to write with a great writer in New York, and Paul didn't want to join in on the writing session.
We really wanted him to come along, but he didn't want to do it. So, you know, then obviously he wasn't part of writing that #1 hit, which I think afterwards he sort of held against us a little bit.
Same Old Brand New You topped the charts and propelled them into the record books for having 2 #1s in just 16 weeks. And top awards soon followed. First, a gong for the band's resident pin-up.
Smash Hits, Most Fanciable Male. It's Ben from A1.
I did win Most Fanciable Male, which was a milestone, to say the least.
Thank you very much to everyone that voted me for this award. And because I won it, I reckon that means I'm going to get lucky tonight. So I'm just wondering, does anyone want to come backstage and have a bit of hot action?
Things just couldn't get better. Everything was going our way, and then to top it off, we won a Brit Award for Best New Band. And that year, it was the year, you know, Craig David was nominated, Coldplay were nominated. We were in good company there. We all said something, but the TV edited it down to just me going, "What's going on? Wow, what's going on?" And it was just, made me look like a total muppet.
It was an award voted for by the public, but not everyone was a fan.
This award ceremony over the years has been accused of not having a sense of humour, but then when you see A1 winning Best Newcomer, you know that somebody's taking a piss somewhere.
Boy band, easy target, and people like that, indie bands and stuff like that, the first people they knock are your Justin Biebers, your One Directions. It's like, yeah, right, okay, well, you just wish you were doing what we were doing.
And we did, you know, a cover of Don't Look Back in Anger for Noel Gallagher for his kind words about us after winning the Brit Award. Love you.
But their popularity in the UK was a drop in the ocean compared to their standing in Asia, as their next big tour would prove.
The Asian market really, you know, took to us. And, you know, Philippines was one of our main territories, Singapore, Thailand.
In Manila, we had 25,000 people show up at a signing at a mall. Things were just crazy.
Instead of the normal thing where we would try and walk through a crowd and people would be wanting to sort of touch us, they wanted just a piece of us. They were pulling hair, they were ripping jackets.
But nothing could prepare them for what happened next. Coming up, the two bands are derailed as communications break down.
I was fired by fax. If you knew the history, for me, it wasn't a sacking.
And tragedy strikes.
See girls at the front actually being squashed so their faces are right up against the glass.
2 girls got tripped over and got trampled over.
Blinkbox Music sponsors the big reunion.